most people think that lighting designers only work with light.
Yes.
But increasingly it's important to understand the value of darkness at the right time. What is it that we as humans experience? And how does that experience change when we actually experience darkness at night? If we are not really looking for quick results, I think we're making small but important steps in encouraging responsibility. But I think the real success will come when that is a common dialogue that's put forward by the design community to the user community. Right? If they are disparate voices, there is a lot more confusion. So kind of aligning those voices is actually, I think, the bigger responsibility.
Welcome back to the Virtual Lighting Design Community Podcast, a global platform that empowers, inspires, educates, and connects the lighting design community. This podcast is brought to you by our premium supporters Aero Hospitality Lighting, Creative Lighting Asia, Urco, the Signify Lighting Academy, and Felix Lighting. Here's your regular dose of light inspiration. For anyone wanting a visual experience, please do check out our YouTube channel, where you will find the video version of this episode, as well as many other great interviews and presentations by our industry thought leaders. Our YouTube handle is @vld.community. And of course, it wouldn't be complete without mentioning our online platform where the magic happens. Join us and your fellow lighting enthusiasts, where you can gain access to the complete array of presentations, interviews, stories, ongoing conversations, a host of resources, and much more. So please do check that out and explore the community. Now, without further ado, let's head straight into the episode. Enjoy! Good morning. It's still morning here at the Light Middle East 2024 here in Dubai. My name is Ingmar Klaasen, signing in for the Virtual Lighting Design Community. I have a special guest with me at the moment, Linus Lopez. Pleasure to have a chat with you.
Thank you very much for having me here.
You're welcome. For anyone who may not know you, but I find it hard to believe that people probably don't know you, but maybe you would like to introduce yourself to to our community, even though you've done a presentation for us already.
Thank you, firstly, I have to start off by saying that I'm really happy to be a part of the VLD community. I practice as a lighting designer in India. My brother and myself are partners in the firm. And we have 14 colleagues working with us, working on projects of lighting design in India and a few countries abroad. It's been a process of sort of walking into lighting, because when I started off it was engineering first, and then discovered the joys of lighting, and then kind of moved into that after almost 10 years working.
So you went from engineering into lighting?
That's right.
And how long have you been in lighting now?
Well, the first project was in 2000 when we got very lucky to win a commission to light Picasso's paintings when they were on display in Mumbai in India.
Okay.
And seeing that interaction of light and art, I mean, that sort of, there was no turning back after that. So,
you got hooked.
Yep.
It's a bit of a familiar story, I think. People find lighting unexpectedly and they fall in love with it, and then it becomes their life, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I don't know too many people who said as a child that, I want to grow up and be a lighting designer.
Exactly. So this is day 2 of the fair. You were also involved in the judging on the Monday. So what's been your experience being part of that judging process? You've been a judge previously, I suppose. How does this compare with your experiences?
Well, interestingly, this was my first experience.
Okay.
And that's mainly because I have never been really one of the flag bearers for awards or juries.
Yes.
I was very hesitant to even be a part of this jury.
Okay.
But I was convinced by Sharon that it would actually be a very good experience.
Right.
And I have to say that those words were very true. As much for the fact that they were really interesting projects
Yes.
that we had to review, but also the fact that along with the 10 other very respected lighting designers in the field, it was really interesting to hear the analysis of a project.
Oh, yes.
So it wasn't just a selection based on that last visual image.
Yes.
It was a deep down dissection of the process of design, the challenges, how were questions about sustainability answered. So for me, it was a great experience, and I think the results.
You might do it again.
Absolutely.
Because you were able to also be there with the designer of the project. Right?
That was an interesting addition this time, that we were actually able to ask very specific questions to the designer about the project and hear firsthand from them about it. So that was a really good part.
So you actually learn a bit more as well about the decisions they're making and all that.
Yeah.
So now over the fair itself, being day 2, you've had a chance to roam around. You're speaking later on at Think Light. So what are your impressions this year? This isn't your first year coming to LIBME Middle East.
Yeah, it's my second year.
Your second year, yes.
Last year was the first year, and post-COVID, the mecca for us and our company would always be Light and Building in Frankfurt, where we see new technology, meet old friends.
Yeah.
That hadn't happened for 3 years. So meeting in Dubai was a really pleasant experience, both to catch up with the lighting community and meet all those people that we only saw on screens over the 3 years. This year I have to say that it's been even bigger. It looks like there are a lot more participants on the shop floor.
Yeah.
But I also find, for me, it's about the complete knowledge gain. So it's a little bit about technology from the exhibitors and the manufacturing community, but also content from lighting designers. So it's been a really nice, healthy mix for both this time.
Have you attended much of the Think Light presentations, the sessions?
Yes, absolutely.
What would you say inspired you, or what have you heard that you thought, wow, that's been great to actually witness that?
So I think for sure the keynote, 2 keynotes, Lauren Dandridge and Dorothy, were not just inspiring, they were also about, there's one thing about being inspiring and there's another about being thought-provoking. When you leave hearing a speaker, deep in thought, you know that speaker has made an impact.
Yeah.
So questioning the responsibility of lighting designers, which is what Lauren did, and the role in design was, quite a push and really made me think. And the whole world of, the entertaining aspect of light installations, light art, that Dorothy was presenting. It's another whole world and something that I'd really be looking at with interest over the next few days.
Absolutely. Tell us a bit about what you will be talking about in Think Light this afternoon. You mentioned before to do with darkness.
Yes. A slightly challenging topic for lighting designers. Most people think that lighting designers only work with light. But increasingly it's important to understand the value of darkness at the right time and sort of design with that. So it's about, I would be speaking more about the stories that make designing for darkness important. Okay. What is it that we as humans experience, and how does that experience change when we actually experience darkness at night? That is something that I really want to highlight during the presentation. I will be also discussing a few projects, one of them that is sort of already been completed and something that's work in progress, and hope to be asking for a little change in the way we talk about darkness. So that's something that I'd like to focus on.
And that ties in nicely with the themes of the fair this year, which has to do with responsibility that we have as lighting designers, and darkness is part of that. Do you feel in general as I guess an industry we're moving we're taking steps in the right direction. Because sometimes it's easier said than done in reality.
Yep. I think, so I'm always very conservative in most things, and that makes me almost a very bad businessman when it comes to lighting design. But I think if we are not really looking for quick results, I think we're making small but important steps in encouraging responsibility. But I think the real success will come when that is a common dialogue that's put forward by the design community to the user community. Right? If they are disparate voices, there is a lot more confusion. So kind of aligning those voices is actually, I think, the bigger responsibility.
So now there's a big question for you. What gets you out of bed in the morning? What inspires you, or is there anything maybe that you've maybe encountered that sort of is a bit of a wow factor, or you think is a bit of a motivating factor for you in your daily life?
Well, interestingly, that changes year on year, sometimes month on month. But I think increasingly since the pandemic, it is about spreading both the awareness of the need for a profession of lighting designers. So there's a lot of focus now from my side to spend a little more personal time in promoting the profession of lighting design in India, and then also kind of letting the world know that they are really good Indian lighting designers also doing very good work.
Yes.
But it's also about increasing the awareness through education and research about good lighting. These are things that I'm really motivated about, and I'm very happy to take up opportunities that kind of promote that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, speaking about education and awareness, we have a lot of young people that are also part of this community. Is there any advice that you would maybe like to share with some of those young people who are entering the lighting industry? Words of wisdom, I suppose. That advice might change, so maybe I'll ask you that next time and it'll be a different answer. But
yeah, I need to become a lot more wiser for sure before I give an answer that is advice for anybody.
Yes.
But I think, I would just encourage, like I do for, the people that we work with back in the office, to be more sensitive observers, right? The time has come for us to, not just become more blinkered, because that's what we are being encouraged to do by society in general. We have to be the ones who actually remove those blinkers, be more observant, but also sensitively observant. Right? We have to be educated about what we are observing.
Yes.
How does that change? What are the factors that change those observations? Why is it different in one place from the other? Why is it different with one set of people and another set of people?
Yes.
And that becomes a good feedback to design. The ability to observe how people use spaces, how they think about spaces, comes from good observation.
I think that's a really great note to end the interview, and I appreciate you coming down and having a chat with us. And
a pleasure, Ingmar.
We will see you around at the fair. Thanks, Linus.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed this episode and you've gained some insight or inspiration that you can take away or perhaps apply. If you enjoyed this episode, it is always appreciated if you could take a moment to share the podcast with your peers and friends, or leave a review on your favorite podcast app. Consider subscribing to the podcast and our YouTube channel to stay up to date with our latest content. Do check out our online platform as well at vld.community. If you would like more, why not go back and listen to some of our previous episodes and hear more from our thought leaders. Thanks for listening, and we will be back with more great presentations or interviews very soon. Till next time.